Zev?
You're listening to Talkline with Zev Brenner, America's premier Jewish broadcast on the air since 1981.
And now, here's your host.
Am I in there?
Okay, we are back, and we're speaking with Mark Mayer Appel. You've listened to him over the years, and this week, he's a founder of the Bridge Multicultural and Advocacy Project. And this week, the New York Post did a story. It's been online that he shook hands with Mamdani running for mayor of New York, and he's gotten some interesting flack from the variety of different places. So, Shavua Tov, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Shavua Tov.
Thank you for being part of our show. So, first of all, what event were you at that you were shaking hands with Zohran Mamdani?
That's a good question. First of all, Shavua Tov, thank you, Zev, for having me on. That event was an event basically to talk about the Trump administration's policies on healthcare. A lot of frum people in our community that have transferred their assets into a trust so they can get 24-hour help in case they get incapacitated. We're really concerned about this. So that's why I went to this event. It was a public event. It was not an endorsement event. It was an event to talk about the Trump policies and how they affect the citizens of New York.
But what happened, though, and I saw the video, is that Mamdani is walking down to people and you shake his hand, you speak to him, and you got criticized for shaking his hand and in a friendly fashion. So people say that he's anti-Jewish, anti-Israel especially. So say, how could you shake his hand with somebody who supports Hamas?
Well, shaking hands with somebody doesn't mean an endorsement.
No, but it means that you're in a friendly posture with him. So,
yeah, but don't forget. Mamdani was invited to the JCRC. It was a public event, right? Jewish Community Relations Council, which does beautiful work for the Jewish community. He was invited to the Council of the Jewish Organization of Flatbush, where he came.
I wish I was there and you were there.
Yeah, he was there.
Councilman, who's now his son, Kalman Yair, got up and he chided people for inviting him and for shaking his hand.
I don't see why this Republican council member from Sheepshead Bay is so concerned about me shaking.
Well, the New York Post reported that Councilwoman Ina Vernikov says that because you shook hands with somebody who's anti-Israel, she's not going to provide any funding to your organization.
What about the other organizations that shook hands with him? And
well, she said any group that shakes hands, she's not going to.
I didn't invite him, but they invited him. The Jewish Community Relations Council, the Kojo Flatbush.
Kojo Flatbush, not Kojo Borough.
And his rumors around, which are pretty much that Satmar met with him a couple of times. So why do you pick a Mark Appel? When Ina, I'm not going to attack her. I'm going to say one thing. I'm going to say, Ina, the work at the bridge. You know the work that I've done for 12 years, uniting our community, bringing our community together. You've been at the bridge. You've been at our holiday party. You've been at our Pesach Seder. You've been there when I distributed food and clothing with the Flatbush Foundation for the Jewish poor. You know exactly the kind of work that the bridge does. If you choose to attack me, Listen, when you were attacked because you foolishly brandished a pistol at a rally, I was there supporting you. I contacted law enforcement as a witness saying that your shirt was pulled up and the gun was visible, but you didn't have the gun cocked or anything. It wasn't any danger. I defended you. But now you're attacking me. You're telling me you're not going to give me money. Number one, I never asked you for money. I never asked you for $1. I never asked you for any city council money. And I haven't asked anybody for money. Most of the money that the bridge does is done with private money.
But the New York Post reported you get $60,000 in city council funding.
That covers the electric bill about. That covers the electric bill. But there's
and I haven't spoken to Councilman Vernico. I certainly will call her. We'll certainly have her on the air.
Yeah,
but the point is, there is a feeling, though. And by the way, I was at the Council of Jewish Organizations of Flatbush breakfast, where I missed Mamdani. By the time I came, he wasn't there anymore. And I remember Kalman Yegan got up and attack those that for invite the group for inviting him, and also for those that took pictures. Here's the problem: when you take a picture with elected officials. And I saw another Jewish leader, and I won't mention his name, where they tried him. How can you take a picture of Mamdani? They use it. Say, listen, we're not against the Jews. Look at all these people smiling with us. And that's where I think maybe people can say, Mark Mayer Appel, fine, you're not endorsing him, but just taking a picture and smiling, and he's smiling at you, which he could use and say, I'm not against Jew. I'm not an anti-Semite. Look, my best friends are Jewish leaders like you.
I can tell you clearly, my conversations with him after that picture was taken, and the conversation last week at Brooklyn, Vanderveer Estates, both of those conversations, I asked him and I begged him, please, you're a front runner as mayor of the city of New York. You have a good chance of being the mayor. You're going to have to rule. You're going to have to govern the city. You don't want any problem with the Jewish community. If somehow you can lower the hate, and he did make a comment about the Intifada thing. He said that he recommends to his friends not to use that word. So,
that's baloney, because he believes in it, and he said free Palestine. I saw the rallies that he sponsored. He's a supporter of Hamas. The Free Palestine means the eradication of Israel. Let's be realistic. He's not a friend of the Jewish community.
Oh, let's go back to 1973, when the Lubavitcher Yeshiva honored Jesse Helms from North Carolina. He was a known anti-Semite. He was voting against Israel. He was the head of the Intelligence Committee. But what did he do? He turned around when he won. The Lubavitcher Rebbe said clearly, and it's on YouTube with Alan Dershowitz, he said clearly, you have to speak to everybody. And that's my message tonight. My message tonight, Zev, is to you. You have to speak to everybody. You can't deny the reality.
Listen,
we
were approached by putting Mamdani on the air before the primary, and certainly I would put him on.
They're tired of bike lanes. They're tired of taxes. They're tired of red light tickets. They're tired of everything. They want change. So we have to be realistic, and we have to talk to our adversaries. And everybody has to talk, be able to communicate and speak directly to them. Don't speak to me, speak to Mamdani. But you're not going to get anywhere by every time somebody's promoting hate, calling him a Nazi, calling me a Nazi, calling me a capo. You're not getting anywhere. The polls keep going down for Eric Adams. And Eric Adams was the strongest candidate for supporting the Jewish community. We never had a mayor who made his whole campaign based on fighting anti-Semitism. He set up a separate committee for that. He set Moshe Davis, a young man from Flatbush, to run that committee, who's doing a fantastic job. So people have to have a corsato for the mayor, but that doesn't mean that we can't talk to the adversaries. This is it's not a prison where they tell us who to talk to and who not to talk to.
No, but the point that I made earlier was, and I hear what you're saying. The point that I made is that being in a photo op with him, where he's smiling at you and you're smiling at him, could be used by his campaign, like it was at the Kojo breakfast in Flatbush, where you see, look, we're not anti-Semitic. We have these Jewish leaders. We have these Jewish individuals that are taking selfies with us, that are posing with us. So it helps their campaign. You have to admit Mamdani has a position, unlike Jesse Helms. This is ideological. It's based on him. He grew up with it. His mother and his father are anti-Israel, known for that. He's part of that whole group. You're not going to change his ideology. I don't believe he's going to change ideology.
John F. Kennedy had a better upbringing. John F. Kennedy's father was an openly anti-Semitic person. And John F. Kennedy and Robert Kennedy, they gave their life for Israel. So, what happened?
He's a Muslim extremist. He's a Muslim extremist. I listen, it's different circumstances. Do you believe that Mamdani is going to change his stripes for years? Or you think he's going to be marching in the Israeli Day Parade, if there will be one, if he's mayor?
I don't know if he's going to be marching, but I can tell you
he won't be marching. I guarantee you
that he's going to go out of the way I believe that he's going to go out of the way to protect synagogues and yeshivas. I believe so. Because
I don't. On that part, that's the easy part. But what police? The police are going to be defunded, so there'll be less police to patrol the synagogues.
I don't know. That's a question. I'm not familiar with the police.
Well, he's for the funding. Now he says he wants to have social workers go out there, and he won't. Now he's changed his pivoted where he's not. He claims he's not defunding the police, but he won't add any more police officers. So
what I'm trying to say is that all this money and this hate is not helping. During the campaign, There was one lobbyist who really is attacking me. I don't want to mention his name. He's really attacking me. Who raises millions and millions of dollars, right? And I think he's supporting Adamson. Uh, he's raising millions and millions of dollars. He had absolutely zero. It says he took $25 million and threw it down the incinerator. No, 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 nothing helped. So we have to be careful as community leaders. I work with the entire Jewish community. I've never said no. I've run distribution campaigns for Pesach and on Rosh Hashanah to feed poor people. And that's what we got to do. We got to do the right thing. We're in Golos. Everybody forgets one thing. We're in Golos. And when you're Golos, you have to work in a special way, even with your adversaries. That's what happened with my great-grandfather in Munkach, when the Michal met with the Tsar and met with the Russian adversaries. You have to talk. The Lubavitcher Rebbe said it very simple. You have to talk.
Our guest, Mark Meir Appel, his group is called The Bridge Project. He got himself in the little hot water this week. Got a little shaken up for shaking hands with Mamdani at an event.
I'm proud. I'm proud of it. Proud of it.
Okay, so when we come back, we continue our conversation with Mark Meir Appel. Coming up a little later on, we'll be speaking to the Chief Rabbi of Kazakhstan, as well as Rabbi Velvel Butman, all this and more. If you'd like to join in our conversation, by the way, our phone numbers are 212-769-1925, 212-769-1925. You want to email zevbrenner@gmail.com. You want to WhatsApp us, 212-769-1925, 212-769-1925. As I said, email zev@talklinenetwork.com. We're going to be right back. Don't go away. Stay tuned. This is the Talkline Network.
Thank you for calling Zev Brenner, the Talkline Communications Network, America's leading Jewish radio and TV network. Leave a message.
1. I did not recognize your selection.
Thank you for calling Zev Brenner, the Talkline Communications Network, America's leading Jewish radio and TV network. To leave a message in our office mailbox, please dial 105. To reach Zev Brenner, please dial 100. For
Hello?
Yeah, I had the camera off.
Oh, you can't talk. You're on the air live. You can't talk. You're on.
Okay.
And by the way, our numbers are 212-769-1925 to speak to Mayor Mark Appel, or email Zev at talklinenetwork.com. That's 212-769-1925. You can also WhatsApp us at that number as well.
Hello?
Thank you for listening to this episode of
Talkline with Zev Brenner, America's premier Jewish broadcast, on the air since 1981. Please call us with your questions and comments at 212-769-1925. That's 212-769-1925. Or email us at zevbrenner@gmail.com.
And we're back. Our guest, Mark Mayer Appel, he's the founder of an organization that deals with all kinds of issues with relationships with the Jewish community and beyond that as well. And we're going to take your phone calls at 212-769-1925, 212-769-1925. I'm getting some emails that says Campo, that says a Bezin should convene to put you in Cherem. How do you respond to the strong reaction we're getting?
If they put me in Cherem, they're going to have to put the JCRC and the Kojo Flatbush Cherem and Satmar people that talk to them in Cherem, you know? I don't see any rabbinical, valid rabbinical Bezdin that would dare act on this kind of narishkeit from people that are angry, people that are hostile, people that think they're more Jewish than me and you, you know? It's ridiculous, you know?
Let's take some phone calls. Let's go to, I think we have Rabbi Andre Malik on the line. Go ahead, Rabbi Malik. Thank you for waiting for almost a half hour to speak to Mark Appel. Go ahead.
This kind of I just want to talk about the bridge and what Mark has done for the last all of his life. I mean, it was starting out with CHAPS helping special needs kids in all the communities, and then with Midwood, and then starting the Bridge Multicultural Project at the junction, where it's a hub of all different cultures, and he brought them together. We never had any problems and any kind of disagreements. This is like a Crown Heights type of thing. I'm talking about there was peace in the community because of this man. We worked with the Pakistani community, the Christian community, the Asian community. Every disaster through the world, we supplied blood for Mamdani-Mark hospital. We just one thing after the other. Mark has been. Let's talk about the 10 years that we worked on Child Victims Act and finally got it passed, and now it's a law in all of 50 states about that kind of situation. That's the power that Mark has. And when it comes to being ecumenical and being able to talk and shake somebody's hand, I think the councilwoman Brenner sitting in the city council, I'm sure, has interactions with him a lot more than Mark ever had. You know, that was give me a break. You have to reach out to everybody in the community, and God forbid this guy becomes the next mayor. You know, you got to be able to deal with him.
I'm going to let Mark respond to you. Thank you for your question.
Thank you, Rabbi Andre. Thank you so much. You've been a strong supporter for over a decade with all the projects that I've been involved with. But let me give you an example. October 7th comes around, okay? I went into action immediately. There's not one Pakistani Muslim organization in New York City that openly criticized Israel because of the relationship that we have at the bridge. Nobody criticized Israel. When it came to support Israel, October 7th, I brought together a group of black ministers, the most strongest and most influential black ministers in Brooklyn, who came to the bridge and lit candles for the people that were killed and prayer for the people, the hostages and survivors. Those are the things that we did. We went to Israel. The bridge paid 3 people. We went to Israel, myself. We bought a Sefer Torah for the Chayalim. We bought clothing. We bought food. We bought all kinds of things. If she wants to criticize me, I'm not going to criticize back. But people in the community, even my adversaries, agree that the work that we do at the bridge is Kodesh Kodeshim, holier than holier.
Okay, let's go to Harriet. Harriet in Sheepshead Bay. Harriet, are you there?
Hi, Harry.
Let me tell you this. You were trying to placate Mamdani. Is that correct? Right. You're placating
no, I didn't try to placate.
Mamdani is a jihadist. Mamdani is a proxy of Iran. Muhammad is a follower of Hajj Amin al-Husseini, the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, who, along with Hitler, planned the execution of the Jews, not only in the Middle East with extermination tanks, but he wanted to also take down Western civilization. There's no way that a normal, intelligent person would placate Mamdani. You are dealing with the devil, sir.
I'm going to let Mark respond to you. Go ahead.
First of all, there's no question that you're 100% right that the Mufti of Jerusalem met with Hitler's people and was in collusion with the Nazis. But most of the Muslims, you didn't say that, most of the Muslims were against the Mufti. And as a matter of fact, 5 million Muslims were killed during World War II. And 5,000 Muslim troops went to free the concentration camps in the American army. So I still, even if they're adversaries, just like Jesse Helms from North Carolina in 1973, we have to keep the lines open. The communication has to stay open. You ask the leaders of the Jewish community, whether it's the Jewish Community Relations Council, who I have a lot of respect for, or the Kojos or the Satmar community, you have to keep the line open. Even right now, Ukraine is fighting with Russia, but there is an open line. Trump is there. Trump is coming back, meeting with Ukraine. You have to keep the line open, even at war.
Here's another email question. Mark Appel supported Councilwoman Rita Joseph when she voted against the resolution to stop Jew hatred in New York City Council.
I called her immediately. Councilwoman Rita Joseph had switched chiefs of staff from one day to the other day. She switched chiefs of staff, and it was a misunderstanding, and she apologized, and she withdrew the thing because of my call. And she's a good woman.
Here's an interesting question, though. See, there's a very strong probability if the elections were held today, Zohran Mamdani would be the next mayor of New York City. Who knows what can happen between now and November? So the question is, how is the Jewish community going to deal with that situation if you have a mayor who is anti-Israel, who believes in Hamas, who's supportive of Hamas, believes in free Palestine? How should the Jewish community deal with that? So I want to get your thoughts. How should the Jewish community deal with that situation? Should it, God forbid, come to fruition?
Let me give you an example. The Jewish communities that I've been involved with, the Marine Park, JCC, and Rabbi Hecht, and Kranai specifically, Hanina Sperling and Yaakov Berman are doing an excellent job working with very, very progressive politicians. Crystal Hudson and other politicians.
There's a difference between being progressive and being anti-Semitic.
One second. They're very friendly. They're very friendly with the extreme left, very extreme. But when it came to an issue of Kranites of being attacked, Hanina Sperling, an incredible leader, and Yaakov Berman, an incredible leader, both of them, and Deborah Halberstam, they spoke to the progressives, and the progressives supported the Jewish community. So you never know. You never know what's going to happen. Nobody can predict.
Let's go to Stan first. Go ahead, Stan. Your question for our guests. Go ahead.
Thank you. First of all, Neville Chamberlain shook hands with Hitler numerous times. They
We know that.
negotiated. Well, good. Well, I'm glad you know that. The point is, do you know this guy's record in the state assembly? You know what he's done? Have you checked it out?
He's done practically nothing. He does not have an
Thanks.
impressive track record.
I want him to say that.
tell me,
That's
you tell
the
me.
story. Go ahead.
No, but the question though is, listen, you have other people that have almost no track records that are running for office, okay? But even when Barack Obama ran for president, he didn't have the credentials that some of the other candidates had. But however, here you have somebody, his credentials are that he's on record of supporting Hamas, Free Palestine. He organized events. He pretty much has said doesn't believe in Israel as being a Jewish state. So you have somebody like that who could become the mayor of New York City. That's a very big issue.
Are you talking to me? Or
I'm
to
talking
him?
to both of you.
I'm not for Mamdani. I'm asking him. Did he read his record? I know he's not what he is. I know his record.
But he's also not from.
I'm not for this guy. He's a creep. I'm not for him.
But I don't think. Let Mayor
Go ahead.
respond. But I don't think Mayor.
Sure.
You're not supporting him. You're supporting Eric Adams, from what I understand. Correct?
Me? I haven't made up my mind.
No, I'm talking about Mark. Mark, you're supporting. Mark, you're supporting Mayor Eric Adams, correct?
Yes.
Okay, but how do you respond to Stan from Queens?
I don't have to respond to him because
That's okay. That's fine. I don't.
7 days.
He just admits what type of. He doesn't want to respond. Don't respond.
I just hang up on him.
Anyway, thank you for your phone call. He makes some good
Unbelievable.
point.
Real winner. Bye.
Okay. But the question though is how do you deal? Listen, there's very strong sentiment in our community regarding this issue. We're talking about the survival of the Jewish people. You can understand where people are coming from.
Yeah.
I know that you just shook a hand and you spoke to him, and the question is, we're going to have to deal with him in some matters should he become mayor of New York City, which is a strong probability. The question was only giving him ammunition to say, hey, I like Jews. Look at all these photos of smiling Jews shaking my hand.
I strongly urge everybody to, let's say tomorrow, Sunday, in Bryant Park at 12 o'clock, from 12 to 5 p.m., the Jewish community of Crown Heights and the adjoining communities, the Black community, the Muslim community, are getting together in Bryant Park for a day of celebration, a day of joy, a day of unity. These are the kind of things that we have to be doing. You can't sit back and wait like the councilwoman, Vernico, who waits for something to happen, and then she goes on the press with her screaming and yelling and calling everybody names. You don't wait for that. You got to get involved with the local community board. You got to get involved with the Jewish Community Relations Council. You got to make sure that you march to the Israeli Day Parade. You got to make sure that you write letters to the editors. You do things that are positive. The only way we're ever going to win the war against hate is by doing positive things. You know, we at the Bridge are involved with 16 different projects now. We have Unity and Hate, which is a slogan, which is going into all the public schools. All the public schools are getting this. Every student, Unity and Hate. We've created a curriculum to fight hate. We've discussed this with the Chancellor of New York. We've discussed it with the Office of Hate Crimes that the mayor has so good put together. So there are good things that have to be done, and we can't wait. And we have to ignore these haters. They just attack people because they talk a different language than they are used to. You have to do things. We do Seder's together. Could you imagine we brought together over a dozen Black leaders in the Hispanic leaders to support Israel? Our elected officials immediately, October 7th, put out a statement where it was the speaker, Radnice Bichette, the head of the Brooklyn Democratic Party, Councilwoman.
Who was very early to endorse Mamdani, by the way.
They did a stronger statement than I would do. They did
but yet she supported Mamdani, right?
What?
She's one of the first. Radnice Bichette was one of the first to endorse Mamdani.
She's the head of the Brooklyn Democratic Party, and she has to abide by the board of directors that decided the decision. You know.
Does she have the? Listen, to his credit, Chuck Schumer.
Let me give you an example. I'm glad you brought up. I'm glad you brought up. When she became the assemblywoman, she had the Jewish community was just mocking her, calling her an anti-Semite as well. And I stuck with her. I knew that she's a good woman. I knew her mother. I knew her family. I know the values that she has as a person. And she became a leader, and she's a strong friend of she's a very strong friend of the Jewish community. But she was labeled an anti-Semite. And people criticized me for talking to her. So now you criticize me talking to Mamdani. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. I still have hope that we can reduce some of the flames. You have to call me at the office, or call me directly on the cell phone number. My cell number is 917-804-3942. 917-804-3942. And I'll direct you to ways that you can help.
And Mark Mayer Appel, the founder of the Bridge Multicultural Project, thank you for being here with us. Thank you for joining. Look forward to having you back on a future broadcast.
Thank you so much, Zev. Shalom tov, and I hope you're staying nice in Long Beach and being there for the summer. I listened to you about Thurs.